and I made him watch.
There was the ruckus last night, you know?
That was crazy. Like, I really thought it was gunshots.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird.
But it wasn't a steady, but when it happened, it was very rhythmic.
Mm-hmm.
I was too tired to really pay attention.
Right.
And then there's also, like, music at one point.
Yeah, there was music. That's why I thought that the gunshots are maybe, like, drums. But I don't know, because it was, like... But it was almost more like hammering.
Yeah, I don't think it was gunshots.
Yeah.
It did sound like someone was beating on something or hammering something
Maybe
every now and then.
They were building something.
It was, like, what, 2?
2
a.m.?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, hello and welcome to And I Made Him Watch, the podcast where I make my husband watch weird movies and we discuss how weird things really got. I'm your host, Dani Page, and here with me forever and always, the cutest guy I know, the filmmaker, Troy Allen. What's up, you cutie patootie?
Not much. You strawberry jam?
Strawberry jam?
Yeah, you jam my strawberry. Psych. I don't know. That was weird.
Jam my strawberry. Okay.
Well, yep.
I made you watch Near Dark from 1986. And so Near Dark wasn't that bad, huh? We really lingered on the line of a movie being a B-horror on this one. And it's not as campy or as strange, but it's not as well known, even though it has like a very famous cast and director. I like to shine light on some of the, a few of those movies that people might have missed or overlooked. Yeah. So that was it's a good time to do that.
Yeah, I felt like the movie was very well within the realm of what we watch on this show. So like, even though like the cast that was in that film would later on become like pretty big stars and stuff, and the director would, direct a couple of like best picture films and stuff. At the time, like none of these people were really known,
not really,
so.
Not too bad. So Near Dark it's about Caleb, who's just a small town guy who wants to get his dick wet. That literally is how it starts.
Yep.
And then he meets May and tries to get his dick wet. And then she freaks out and bites him. Uh-oh. Turns out May's a vampire that's been traveling with a group of vagabond vampires. There's like this nuclear type family situation that's pretty weird. Caleb ends up going with these vampires, and they test him to see if he can hang. Caleb's father and little sister have been looking for them, and they all just kind of happen to end up at the same motel at one night. And this creepy fucker, Homer, who is this old man stuck in this immortal body of a 13-year-old boy, sees Caleb's sister, and then it just blows up from there. The ending was, like you said, it was meh. I guess it was confusing for you. For me, the ending was just like, well, that's one way to end it, I guess. Yeah,
it was very lackluster, but we'll get into it more in detail later on.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like the movie overall, it wasn't bad. I mean, it's not the best film I've ever seen, but compared to some of the films that we've watched on the show,
this one's easy, huh?
Yeah, this movie.
I after watching Spookies, and then we lost the recording of a movie called Gatorade that we recorded, and after those were really hard on you, I feel like. So
yeah.
Also, Atomic Brain wasn't too bad, but it was old.
Yeah. Atomic Brain was just hard to watch because of that, because it was a much older film, and it's not quite up to today's standards.
It falls a little flat, even though it's an okay film.
Yeah.
So we've got a pretty good cast and crew here, like our director, Kathryn Bigelow. Born November 27th, 1951 in San Carlos, California, Bigelow's journey from the vibrant art scene of New York City to the halls of Columbia University shaped her into the groundbreaking director she is today. From her gritty debut with The Loveless from 1981, a rebellious outlaw biker film, to her historic win as the first woman to receive the Academy Award for Best Director for The Hurt Locker from 2008, which is an intense war drama. Bigelow's films have captivated audiences with their stunning visuals and intense storytelling. Her repertoire includes the pulse-pounding vampire thriller, which we just watched, Near Dark from 1987, the gripping psychological drama Blue Steel from 1990, and then the very famous adrenaline-fueled action of Point Break from 1991. The riveting hunt for Osama bin Laden from Zero Dark 30, 2012, and then the searing socio-political commentary of Detroit from 2017. With 2 Academy Awards, 2 BAFTA Awards, and a Primetime Emmy Award to her name, Bigelow's influence extended far behind her accolades, inspiring both audiences and fellow filmmakers alike to explore the depths of the human experience through her lens as her unparalleled talent.
I think many of us who are veterans, everybody can connect with The Hurt Locker. That was a pretty big movie, back then. I honestly didn't know that she had so many, titles that she did. Mm-hmm. I didn't know she did Point Break.
Okay, so it was actually her future, now ex-husband, James Cameron, that suggested that Kathryn use his past cast from his recent hit Aliens for Near Dark. In fact, according to Bill Paxton, in the scene where his character Severin gets flipped off is actually James Cameron driving by. And that's how we got the mighty talented Lance Henriksen as the vampire daddy Jesse. Did I say it right?
No.
What is it?
Henriksen. You said Herkinson.
I forgot. I missed the N in there. That's how we got the mighty talented Lance Henriksen mm-hmm. as the vampire daddy Jesse. Born on May 5th, 1940 in Manhattan, New York, Henriksen's early life was marked by challenges, including his parents' divorce and the time spent in foster care. Rising above the struggles, he found his calling in acting, showcasing his talent in iconic films like Alien, where he is portrayed enigmatic android Bishop, and in Terminator, solidifying his status as a versatile performer. On television, Henriksen captivated audiences with his portrayal of compelling profiler Frank Black in the Fox series Millennium, and his guest appearances on X-Files. Henriksen's voice work for Disney's Tarzan, where he voiced the wise Karchak, and the Mass Effect video game trilogy, where he brought characters like Fleet Admiral Steve Hackett to life, further showcasing his range. Also, while preparing for his role as Jesse, he developed the backstory for the character, and he acted it out. He imagined Jesse as a former Confederate Navy member turned vampire. Henriksen even used tar to blacken his hair, a practice common among soldiers or sailors in the 1800s, and added fake, broken nails to give his hands a bone-like appearance. In character, he would wander around at night, startling both a Denny's waitress and a hitchhiker he picked up. Despite the hitchhiker's initial unease, Herkinson gave him $80 to thank him for being a good sport, and jokingly admit that he was lucky that the hitchhiker didn't make him cry like a baby. So he was out there just tormenting people. As Jesse.
That's pretty wild. I don't know why you would do that, though.
It's character acting. He was getting in it, man.
Kind of reminds me of a Daniel Day-Lewis type method actor.
Yes. Yeah, very method. Yes.
So, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. So Jesse's best friend, Severin, is played by none other than Bill Paxton, R.I.P. Bill Paxton, born May 17, 1955 in Fort Worth, Texas, was an American actor and filmmaker known for his roles in movies and TV shows. Raised by his mom, Mary Lou Gray, he had a mixed heritage and grew up in the Roman Catholic faith. He had a memorable moment during President John F. Kennedy's time in Fort Worth in 1963, which was captured in photos displayed in a museum. Paxton starred in the famous films like Aliens, Titanic, and A Simple Plan, and then had smaller parts in movies like Weird Science and Nightcrawler. On TV, he was in the series Big Love, where he played a man with multiple wives and got nominated for a Golden Globes Award. Did you ever watch Big Love?
Mm-mm.
I watched some Big Love.
Yeah.
Big Love was on before we had like streaming and stuff, and I'm pretty sure it's HBO. So every time I could sit down and it was on, I would watch it. So I never really got the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty good. It's about a Mormon man.
I kind of gathered that.
Yeah.
The whole, like, multiple wives and stuff.
So Paxton also tried his hand at music with the band Martini Ranch. Even though he passed away on February 25th, 2017, people still love and remember his work in entertainment. And apparently, while filming, there was this train that would stop at the same intersection every night. And then one night after filming the standoff between Severin and Caleb, Bill Paxton, in full makeup, with half his face missing, saw one of the train workers and went up to him and said, "Hey man, there's been an accident. And if you think I'm bad, wait till you see the other guy." That is so fucked. It's so fucked.
That's pretty funny though. I could see Bill Paxton.
Yes, that's such a Bill Paxton thing. Also, he looked mighty nice in this movie.
Yeah.
He's very attractive.
You know, obviously, like Bill Paxton was such a titan of filmmaking. Like, you know, you didn't even mention like Twister. Twister was such a huge movie back in the 90s. And then there's the sequel coming up here shortly. And I feel like we have been fortunate enough to where we actually got to see Bill Paxton's final resting place.
Yeah, that's true.
There at Forest Lawn. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of sombering standing, you know, in front of someone so legendary like that. But yeah, I loved him. He had a very small role in the film True Lies, which was also another Jim Cameron film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Tom Arnold, or Jamie Lee Curtis, really. But that movie is so funny to me.
That's a really good movie.
That is such a good movie.
I do like True Lies. Yeah. Yes. Yep.
But yeah, he's a very good actor.
So our vampire mommy, Diamondback, is played by Jeanette Elsie Goldstein, an American actress renowned for her versatility in film and television, and she was born February 4th, 1960 in Los Angeles, California, and raised in Beverly Hills. With family roots spanning Russia, Morocco, and Brazil, her heritage reflects a rich tapestry of cultures. Before venturing into acting, Goldstein honed her skills as a gymnast, setting the stage for her remarkable career. Her breakthrough came with the iconic role of Private Vasquez. Her breakthrough role came with the iconic role of Private Vasquez in James Cameron's sci-fi masterpiece Aliens. That came up a lot, but there's a reason, obviously. Yeah. Earning her a Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actress. She further showcased her talent as Vampire Diamondback in Kathryn Bigelow's Near Dark, securing a second Saturn Award nomination. Goldstein's versatility shone through her other notable roles, including Detective Megan Shapiro in Lethal Weapon 2, and then Janelle Voight and John Connor's foster mother in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Her presence extended into cameo appearances in films like Star Trek Generations and in Titanic, as well as guest spots on TV series such as MacGyver, LA Law, Strong Medicine, ER, and 24. Beyond acting, Goldstein's entrepreneurial spirit led her to establish Jeanette's Bras, a store specializing in large cup bras with a playful slogan declaring the alphabet starts with D.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, going back to the whole Titanic thing, like I did not even realize until you just mentioned it that she is in Titanic.
Yeah.
Like
James Cameron kept them around.
I know.
He was employing these people. They must have gotten really along really well.
Which, funnily enough, and I don't know if you or the listeners know what this term means, but James Cameron is what you would call an auteur director. So an auteur is French for artist, but or author really. But an auteur director uses the same sort of themes and symbology or cast, or has the same style of shots in every movie they do. Like, for instance, Quentin Tarantino, he is what I would refer to as an auteur director because, one, he uses a lot of the same cast in all of his films. Every Quentin Tarantino film you'll ever see, you'll see a shot of feet.
Yeah, that's kind of his thing.
He often employs what they refer to as a trunk shot, so looking up out of a trunk, or maybe like with a Dutch angle sort of framing. But James Cameron, he does a lot of the same thing, using the same cast and stuff. So I thought that was very interesting because I honestly, like, once you said it, it clicked. Like, yeah, she does have a small. I don't know if I would even call it a cameo, but she has a very small role in the film. But yeah, that was very interesting.
So the creepy forever child, Homer, is portrayed by Joshua John Miller, who was born December 26, 1974. He is an American actor, screenwriter, author, and director. Beginning his acting journey at a tender age, Miller made his debut in Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, and went on to star in notable films such as dark drama River's Edge in 1986, Near Dark in 1987, sci-fi thriller Class of 99 in 1990, and in the teen comedy fantasy Teen Witch in 1989. His television credits include guest appearance in popular shows like 21 Jump Street, The Wonder Years, and Growing Pains. What a list. Some shows to be on. Especially in the 80s. Oh, goodness. Earning accolades such as Young Artist Awards in his role for Highway to Heaven in 1985. Beyond acting, Miller is an accomplished writer, having studied creative writing at prestige institutes such as Yale and Antioch. In 1997, he published the autobiographical novel The Mal Game, exploring themes of addiction, abuse, and family struggles. This literary success was later adapted into a film in 1999, which Miller wrote and directed, featuring a star-studded cast. So he's still doing stuff. He's still out there in the streets.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. You never want to give up on your craft.
Nope. No, you don't. So, our lover boy, Caleb, is played by Adrian Pasdar.
Well, have we seen him in anything recently?
I don't think so. Nothing comes to mind when I was doing research. Nothing popped out at me.
Okay. All right.
Adrian was born April 30th, 1965 in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. And he's an American actor and film director whose diverse contributions have enriched both the big and small screens. Raised in West Philadelphia and Lansdowne, Pennsylvania, Pasdar's multicultural upbringing with an Iranian-American cardiac surgeon father, wow, and a German immigrant mother shaped his early years. He discovered his passion for acting at Marple Newton High School after injury redirected him from football to the stage, eventually leading him to the Lee Strasberg Theater Institute in New York City. Pasdar's career highlights include memorable roles in films like Solar Babies in 1986, Streets of Gold in 1986, and then, of course, Near Dark in 1987, where he portrayed the lead character, Caleb Colton. His television journey soared with a standout performance as Jim Prophet in the series Prophet, and then as Nathaniel Pederelli Petrelli in the hit show Heroes. Beyond acting, Pasdar showcased his directorial prowess in the feature film Cement. Known for his voice work as Tony Stark, Iron Man, in the Marvel anime, in animated series like Ultimate Spider-Man, Hulk, and the Agents of SMASH, and also the Avengers Assemble. Pasdar's versatility knows no bounds, from portraying District Attorney Alec Ryback in The Lion Game to his recent appearance in the American TV drama Grand Hotel as Felix. Pasdar's talent continues to resonate with audience, leaving an enduring impact on both film and television. So, I mean, he's out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if you did see, like, his name recently somewhere?
No, it's just, he reminded me, I don't remember the actor's name, but he was in that Mindy show. You remember what I'm talking about?
Mindy?
Yeah, Mindy. The white guy. I can't remember his damn name now. Anyways, that's what he looked like him in the face. That's what I thought.
Okay, so Caleb's murderous girlfriend, May, is played by Jenny Wright. Born Jennifer G. Wright on March 23rd, 1962, she's an American former actress celebrated for her memorable performances in film and television. Her journey in the entertainment industry began with a bang as she made her film debut in the comedy drama The World According to Garp in 1982, portraying the character Cushy. Cushy.
I like Cushy.
Cushy, followed by a captivating role as an American groupie in Pink Floyd The Wall the same year. Wright's talent blossomed further with a standout performance in films like The Wildlife as Eileen, St. Elmo's Fire as Felicia Hicks, and in the thriller Out for Bonds in 1986, alongside Anthony Michael Hall as Diz or Darlene. However, it was her haunted portrayal of May in the cult horror classic Near Dark, alongside Adrian Pasdar, that garnered her critical acclaim, earning her a Best Actress award at the Paris International Fantastic and Sci-Fi Film Festival. Her diverse range was further showcased in films like The Chocolate War and I, Madman, as well as smaller roles in Young Guns 2 and The Lawnmower Man. Despite stepping away from acting in the late 90s, Wright's legacy endures. Her contributions to film are cherished, and her performances fondly remembered by audiences, particularly in the realm of the cult classics.
Yeah, I thought she was really good in this film.
She's a very talented actress, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So even though the project had a budget of like $5 million, the movie fell a little short at the box office with a turnaround about $3.4 million. Bigelow blamed it on the prior release of Lost Boys that had premiered only a few months before. I'm not sure if that's a great excuse. I don't really think it makes any sense, honestly, because Lost Boys is great. I feel like when you see a movie that's really good and then another one comes out that's maybe a little similar, you probably go see it because you want to see something good like the previous movie.
Right.
But, that's just my thoughts.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts. Originally, the movie was planned to be shot in location in Oklahoma. However, severe flooding forced a change of plans, and the production shifted to Coolidge, Florence, and Casa Grande, Arizona, with additional work done in Los Angeles. This movie starts with the sound of insects buzzing. We have a fade in on a close-up of a mosquito right before Caleb smushes it dead. We get some establishing shots of this very Midwestern meets Texas type town in the middle of nowhere. And Caleb just is out on the small town scene, roaming around the town until he meets up with a few of his buddies. And Caleb seems a little peeved and irritable, I would say.
So what's very interesting, the very first shot of this entire movie tells you everything about it. It tells you exactly what this movie's about.
Okay.
The mosquito, right? The the mosquito is a bloodsucker,
Yes.
right? And then Caleb kills it.
Yep.
Caleb kills the bloodsuckers.
Yes.
That's the whole plot of the movie. Mm-hmm. Ding, ding, ding. You're done. Like, you could literally just turn it off.
I think it's a little more complicated than that. So when Caleb is chilling out with his friends and they're making like jokes about being with each other's mamas or whatever, the group eyes a young woman eating an ice cream cone, and Caleb goes in for it, and his friends watch. The mysterious young woman is May, and she tells Caleb that she's from Sweetwater, Texas, and they do a bit of flirting back and forth, and it's kind of cute. It's the type of flirtation that's innocent enough before you know what the other person's about, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And May lets Caleb know that she's staying out at the trailer park with some friends. And May says she needs a lift home. So, in the truck, Caleb tells May how pretty she is and asks her if she's got a boyfriend, just getting all the deets. While they're driving, May tells Caleb to stop the truck, and he does, and then she says, I've got something to show you. And May tries to get Caleb to open up to the night, to listen to the night, and asks him to listen for how loud the night is, and Caleb goes in for a kiss, and May rejects him again.
Yeah.
She's being very,
weird. So
it's weird. It's a weird scene.
I think what's really good about this movie so far, though, is like you can tell that it's like these people are professionals. Like they are putting their best foot forward. Like the cinematography is really good up to this point. But yeah, May definitely feels like she's not of this world. Like she feels strange.
That's right. You said that she was an alien. That's what your guess was before.
Yeah. It felt like she was an alien because she was talking about how like she could see the light from the stars and how like that she would still be here billions of years from now when the light finally gets here or some shit like that. I can't remember, but
I was about to get to that.
Okay.
Yeah. May has this whole mysterious monologue going on about how long it takes starlight to reach the Earth, and that she'll be around way longer than after the star burns out. She's really trying to give Caleb the heads up that she's a bloodthirsty vampire, but our poor Caleb is just he's a bit dense.
I mean, guys only want one thing, and it's disgusting. Okay?
Oh, what is it? What is disgusting? It's disgusting. What's disgusting about it?
Anyways,
So they, get back in the truck, and Caleb asks if she's in a hurry. And May's like, nah, not really, never in a hurry. Now it's Caleb's turn to show her something. And they arrive at this little barn set up, and there's a horse, and he's kind of spooked. He just drives off to the middle of nowhere, and suddenly there's like a corral with a horse.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is actually meant to be like Caleb's house or their barn, maybe, and that's how May knew where he was going later on in the film.
Maybe, but I don't know. Like, it's never explained. They just kind of show up to this corral thing. So
May tells him that horses just don't like her, and the horse runs off, and Caleb then lassos May, but May is way stronger than him. Mm-hmm. Caleb finally gets that kiss, but May's still struggling with her morals as a vampire. She also starts to freak out as dawn approaches, and she demands Caleb takes her home. Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense though, because the horse like being terrified of her because she's a predator. Yes.
And the horse can sense that, and then the fact that he lassos her. Yeah. I was like, bro, that's kind of rapey.
Well, when I first watched this, and he was like trying to he was making so many moves at her, and she kept like refusing him. I was really scared of where like his oh, I've got to show you something scene was going, especially when they were like out in the middle of nowhere. But luckily it didn't turn into anything violent or whatever.
I think what would have been more interesting is like her acting all strange and then him saying, "I got to show you something." Like if it turned out that he was the vampire and she was just weird.
So, moving on. So, a confused Caleb starts to take May home again. And the morning is really gaining on him. And Caleb's still confused as why May is freaking out. But then he stops the truck. Speaking of creepy, rapey vibes. He stops the truck and he then bargains with May that she has to kiss him to get him to take her home. Like, what the fuck?
You know, all is well in the world, though, because, you know, you really have to be careful what you ask for. And in Caleb's situation...
He deserved it, kind of.
He kind of deserved it.
He kind of deserved it.
I don't think he really realized what he was asking for.
So...
It was a lot.
I feel like this was May's, like, hunting technique.
Maybe.
I think this was May's hunting technique.
I mean, she did... sort of kind of seduce him a little bit, but not really. And obviously I would never condone any sort of like, you know, sort of rapey
victim blaming yeah, of course
like
not. No.
But it did feel like she was seducing him in order to lure him in.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so.
Like she's a predator, like you said earlier. She is a predator.
Yeah.
And you know, you got to do what you got to do to eat and survive.
Yeah.
So May gives Caleb a really good kiss. She then instinctively bites Caleb in the neck. When she pulls away from him, she flees the truck and she hauls ass. Like, that girl is gone. And Caleb tries to go after her, but gives up pretty easily. And when he gets back in the truck, the engine sputters and won't start. Caleb then starts to walk home, and the sun is coming up, by the way, and Caleb starts to struggle. Soon he starts to smoke from the sun exposure.
Yeah, it is pretty strange. It's very strange. And the fact that, like, bro, like, she just bit the shit out of you. Enough to draw blood. Mm-hmm. And you're going to chase after her? Bro.
No, she crazy.
Yeah, dude.
That's not the cute crazy. That's the crazy.
No, dude. You don't ever... don't do that.
No.
Don't do that with crazy. Okay.
As Caleb starts to near his house, his dad and little sister are outside tending to the cows. Sarah, Caleb's sister, points out that Caleb looks sick. Then Caleb's family watch as a mysterious van comes out of nowhere and snatches Caleb up. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure Caleb's dad is like a ranch hand or like a veterinarian, because he's got a lot of like medical equipment and stuff for like animals.
It does look like he's a veterinarian because when we first see him, he's like treating. I don't remember what type of animal it was. The hilarity ensues because when we see the RV bombing through the fucking desert, dude.
Yeah.
I instinctively said something along the lines of like, you know, is that Walt and Jesse from Breaking Bad just bombing through the desert?
Mm-hmm. And I said, yeah, it's Jesse, all right.
They're just like, yeah, come on, Caleb, we got to go cook, you know. But unbeknownst to me, there actually was a Jesse.
It was actually Jesse, yeah.
Yes.
So it turns out that May is part of this vagabond vampire family. The group wants to kill Caleb, but May's like, might as well kill me too, and points out that he's been bitten but not drained. So Caleb's turn by now. Let's introduce the vampire family. The leader, the vampire daddy, Jesse Hooker, is the charismatic daddy type. Diamondback, the vampire mommy, is Jesse's main squeeze, and she's kind of crazy. Severin is Jesse's best friend and is very crazy. And then Homer is this old vampire forever stuck in the body of a 13-year-old boy. And then May apparently was supposed to be for Homer at some point, but didn't return his feelings.
Damn, batshit crazy.
Dude, well, think of... He's crazy because he's this ancient man stuck in the body of a child.
Yeah.
Imagine what that would, like, your mind maturing, but your body is not.
Yeah,
that
would be weird. That is hard to imagine.
That's so messed up.
For sure. Yeah.
Caleb's father tries to convince the local police that his son was kidnapped. And the police throughout this whole film just did not give a shit.
Nope.
There was no effort.
Nope.
So the next night, May tries to convince the group to give Caleb a chance, and Jesse agrees to give Caleb a week to prove himself. The group introduces himself to Caleb, and when Homer does it, he grabs Caleb by his adult parts, trying to prove some sort of dominance, I guess. It's
that's
weird.
What that is. It's just I'm alpha around here.
Yeah,
it's
whatever.
Like, bro, you're 12. Like, calm down. Jeez.
The group steals a new ride, and then they burn their old RV to get rid of it. Severin makes the comment about a fire that he and Jesse started in Chicago, and this is just tried to reference the Great Chicago Fire. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, apparently they started it or something like that. Also, it's revealed throughout the movie that they do this pattern thing where they continuously are just stealing vehicles and just roaming around the Midwest or something like that. What a waste of immortality. Yeah,
but I mean, when you're forever alive, what else is there to do?
Everything.
Sure, you could do say one day you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm going to go be a doctor. So you go to medical school and do all this stuff. And then, after 30 years, you're like, okay, I'm done with this. And then you're like, okay, I want to go be an astronaut now. So you do all that other shit. It's I
don't know if you could do all that if you were a vampire.
I mean, it would be very difficult, but yes, you could try, I guess.
The group sets out to hunt for the night. Caleb and May start to wander off by foot, and Caleb then says he has to go to get home, and May lets him go, but declares he won't get very far. Caleb limps into town to a bus station. He tries to buy a bus ticket, but only has $11 out of the $14 he needs. So he's $3 short. And the bus station guy pretty much tells Caleb to fuck off because he's $3 short.
Yeah.
Caleb tries to eat some human food, but instantly vomits it out. And then this random guy approaches Caleb, and turns out he's a fucking cop. And he thinks that Caleb is cracked out or something, and then he's a nice guy, but it's mostly just to get Caleb out of there that he gives Caleb the $3 and he needs for the bus ticket.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really out of the kindness of his heart. He just wanted Caleb to be gone and to be out of his area.
It's the classic, Rambo story. He's like the drifter and the cop wants him out of town. Mm-hmm. And Rambo's just like, why can't I just get something to eat, man?
Dude,
and
Rambo's
next thing you know,
so good.
Rambo's murdering people up in the fucking woods and stuff.
Rambo's so fucking good. We should watch the Rambo movies again. They're so good. Oh my god.
Except for the last one.
Except for the last few. The last few are really the three original ones I think are pretty good.
Yeah.
Because there's 5, right?
Maybe.
We're going off. We're getting off topic
Tangents.
again. Yes. Later on the bus, Caleb struggles with the new pains of being a vampire and demands to be left the bus. Once off the bus, he makes his way back to May, who is waiting for him.
So what's really funny is when Caleb gets off the bus, we're met with a series of transitions, and they're all what you would call wipe transitions. So, it's almost like, this side of the frame, gets wiped as the new frame comes in. So, the only other films I've seen that is in Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, are we fucking, I've never seen a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Anyway, so, So the whole thing about May waiting for him and then also telling him he'd be back, I feel like in this universe and how this vampire lore works is that you cannot be very far away from your sire, especially in the first few, I guess, days or years or even, which would explain why all the vampires have stayed together up until this point.
True, that does explain that.
Yeah, and so May feeds Caleb from her wrist, and he starts to feel better. Like, our boy seems like a different guy. As soon as he's done eating, he's smiling, he feels better, he's hopping up, he's hugging on her, kissing her, and the two lovers go off and enjoy the night. Back at home, Caleb's family is still looking for him, and the police pretty much tell Loy, the dad, that Caleb has fallen into the wrong crowd. And technically, they're not wrong. But, again, the cops are just blaming other people and not wanting to do their job. Anyways, at this point, Loy and Sarah hit the road and start looking for Caleb themselves. Caleb also calls home to check in on things, but no one's home to answer the phone. So he figures that they're not, like, waiting for him.
Yeah. You know, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So when the cops are like, oh, he's just with the wrong crowd. Lucky.
Caleb has another little freak out, but May talks him down and convinces him to keep going. May tells him that he's got to learn to kill, and now we get to see how the others hunt. Homer, being a child, fakes having an accident on his bike, and as soon as someone comes to help him, he attacks them. Severn hitchhikes until a pair of young ladies pick him up, and then Jesse and Diamond pick up a hitchhiker that turns out to be a decoy for a car robbery. May and Caleb then hitch a ride with a truck driver, and May tries to get Caleb to attack the driver, but he's reluctant to do so. Caleb then vomits, and the truck driver pulls over and gets out to check on him as May comes up behind and attacks. This truck driver didn't deserve to die this way. He was a very nice man.
No, this movie's got something against truck drivers, and I'll be the first to say, like, you know, truck drivers, they help keep this country running.
They do.
They deserve respect. Also, in the scene where May and Caleb are talking back and forth, and we see, like, a bunch of over-the-shoulder shots, there's one shot in particular where we see the light increase on May's face as if there's headlights coming, right? But when the camera cuts to the reverse angle of Caleb, there's no such lights. Like, it's still just static, like the regular light. So I was like, interesting. You know, they could have at least went through the, you know, went the full mile and made sure that all the lights are motivated, so to speak. But
well, you know, things fall through the cracks sometimes.
And Bill Paxton and that fucking bolo tie, man, like,
dude, Bill was looking nice in this movie. I don't care what you say, he was looking nice. Cut back to Loy and Sarah. Loy makes a call to the sheriff, and they've got a hit on Caleb. Finally, Lloyd decides to head in the direction that Caleb was in. The other vampires are getting a little hot about Mary carrying Caleb, and Jesse demands that Caleb makes a kill that night. The family heads to a local bar. Right away, Severn starts stirring the shit at the bar. Severn angers one of the patrons that uses Caleb, but then uses Caleb as a shield, and Caleb then punches back and the guy goes flying. Jesse and the rest of the fam are being a little creeps in the corner, and Jesse then pulls the waitress into his arms while Diamond slits her throat, and Jesse uses the glass to collect her blood. It's all very violent.
Yeah, this bar scene, it almost,
very out there.
It almost reminds me of From Dusk Till Dawn. Very, very much so. Like, a lot of gore and, like, just all around crazy. You know, I think the craziest part for me was, like, when Jesse and Diamondback are sitting at the table, and Jesse stands up with the waitress or whatever, and Diamondback just fucking reaches around her and cuts her fucking throat, like, right there. It's like, holy fuck, dude. That got dark real fast.
Oh, yeah. And out in public.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only like 5 people in the bar, 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And they slaughter all of them but one.
Yeah.
Real quick. And with no worries. Yeah. And the patrons of the bar just kind of like take it, though. They don't really run away. Like, as soon as I see some weird shit going on like that, I'm heading to the back exit.
Well, maybe they were worried that they wouldn't make it. But at the same time, you're definitely not going to make it if you stand around. I don't know.
So, one by one, the family starts to kill the patrons of the bar. Severn breaking the neck of one and then drinking from him, but complains about the guy not being shaved, which is very strange. The bartender then shoots Caleb in the stomach with a shotgun, and the rest of the family finds it kind of funny because Caleb's like amazed that he's not dead. Severin then attacks the bartender, slicing into his neck with the spur of his cowboy boot. Homer shoots another patron in the back, and then they all watch Caleb, waiting for him to make his move. At this point, there's only one patron left in the bar, and this is just a younger guy playing pool. And May approaches him and asks to dance, and Caleb then gets up and joins him on the dance floor, May declaring that he's for Caleb. But old boy ain't having it and jumps out the window. Caleb goes after him, and the rest of the fam starts to light up the bar and steal a new vehicle.
When I started thinking that Homer was fucking batshit crazy, it started when he unloaded that entire fucking revolver in that dude's back. And I was just like, God damn.
He a killer.
Yeah, he's straight just murking fools, man. I don't even know how he got that way, to be honest.
He's fucking crazy. He's a vampire.
Crazy. He is crazy.
Caleb catches the guy, and he begs for his life, and Caleb lets him go. The family grab Caleb and are disappointed, but decide to hide for the night before dealing with Caleb later. Jesse explains that the kid Caleb let go will be going to the police and that they'll be looking for them soon. They make it to a motel and rent out one of the bungalows, and the man recognizes Jesse, saying he stayed there before a ways back. And Jesse tells him, "Yeah, I stay here every 50 years. Make me a reservation." So I think this is all actually like Jesse. They do stay in this location. Like every 50 years, they just like move around or something just to keep moving.
Yeah.
So obviously Jesse has been to places, and he's the oldest vampire in the group.
Right. But yeah. I mean, obviously, like they go to a place, and by them hunting, they cause a bunch of commotion and stuff like that. So they have to keep moving, or else they'll just have too much heat, as it were, on themselves.
The next morning, there's a knock on the door, and it's the cops. Jesse was right, and the kid went straight to the police with that shit.
Fucking narc.
The vampires get ready to fight. The vampires get ready for a firefight with the police, and the shootout happens, and Caleb makes the call to try to make it to the van. He covers himself with a blanket and makes it outside, but is shot at and wounded. Somehow he's able to make it to the van while on fire. A crispy Caleb drives the van straight into the little bungalow shack, and the family piles in, narrowly escaping.
I thought that the flaming blanket was a really nice touch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was on fire.
Yeah, he was.
In the van.
In the van, yeah.
Yeah, he crispy too. Boy, was crispy. The fam abandons the van for a new car, and they stay the night at a new motel. The family becomes more accepting of Caleb since he saved their skin. May and Caleb head out for the night, and they have one of those lover type conversation. And May tells Caleb her background story. About 4 years ago, she was in high school, and Homer claimed to be in the 5th grade and needed help with his homework, and then turned her.
Yep.
Homer wanders outside and happens to come across a little girl buying a Coke from the vending machine. He instantly falls for the girl. No, it's so fucking creepy. He sees her and he sees an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up if you really think about that, because Homer is a grown man inside a child's body.
Yeah.
And he's looking for that child bride. And if you really think about it, even if he turns a child that looks similar to him, that's still a child. Mm-hmm. That they're not going to really grow, automatically. They're still going to have to go through the process of aging their brain. Mm-hmm. And it's so fucking creepy. Yeah. It's so creepy. So it turns out the little girl is actually Sarah, Caleb's sister, and Homer invites Sarah back to their room to watch TV.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, like I said earlier, though, Homer is fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's the worst one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Diamondback starts to question Sarah about who she's there with, and Sarah explains she's here with her dad. And Diamondback sends Severin to go get Loy. Sarah tries to leave, but Homer is very reluctant to let this happen. But then Caleb shows back up, and Sarah threatens to punch Caleb's lights out because he's alive. And Loy shows up, and Caleb tells his dad that he's with Jesse's group now, and he asks Jesse to let his family go. And it seems like everything's gonna go the way it should, but then fucking Homer, the selfish little prick, grabs Sarah and refuses to let her go.
Yep.
There's so many reasons this is fucked up. You could have let this family go. You guys could have went on with your vampire ways, and you could have kept being a little creepy fuck, but no, you had to fuck it up and try to kill everybody. So Caleb threatens Homer, and then Diamondback and Severin turn on Caleb like, don't you fuck with Homer. And Jesse then says that they got to kill Loy and Sarah. Loy pulls out a gun and fires a round into Jesse's stomach, who then proceeds to cough up the bullet into his hand. Sarah is able to get away from Homer, rushes the door and opens it, allows Caleb and his family to flee, leaving the vamp family behind. So somehow from it being so late at night to early morning where the sun is up during this thing. So Caleb kind of explains what happens and just says, "Damn it, Daddy, take me home." Caleb then asked his father, has he ever done a blood transfusion on a person? We then cut to Loy transferring his blood into Caleb's body, trying to clean his blood from the vampirism.
Yeah, I just want to go out on a limb and say that's some tomato juice looking ass fucking blood.
Yeah, it was very...
thing. That was some V8 shit, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it wasn't... It doesn't... Yeah, it was cloudy.
Yeah, it was just bright, like thick, like a tomato bisque. Yeah.
After the blood transfusion, it seems like Caleb died in the scene, but then he wakes up the next morning seeming to be turned back into human. Yay, I guess. Life seems to be going back to normal for Caleb and his family, seeming to have completely forgotten about the vampires. You know, just don't... As one They does. Know where you live. Yeah. You know, you pretty much know their secret and stuff. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. One night, Caleb hears a swing squeaking and finds May outside. She starts to question why he left and then hugs her and kisses her. And she noticed that he's warm and that he's human again. But it turns out May is a trap. Turns out that Homer has taken Sarah while Caleb was talking to May, and then and then the tires of his truck have been slashed. So Caleb goes after them on horseback.
Yep. A real American cowboy. Mm-hmm. I thought it was funny, though, because Caleb and Loy are sitting at the table, and they hear the swing squeaking outside, and it's dark outside, like it's night. Mm-hmm. And Caleb's just like, well, guess I'm going to go oil that swing. And Loy's like, why? And he's just like, because
I can.
It's like, who the fuck goes outside at night to oil the swing? This is crazy.
Listen, it's a movie.
and now Sarah's been yoinked. Yeah. I do like how May was acting on like, why don't you want to be a creature of the night with me? You know, and he's just like, bitch, I barely know you. You know?
Severin spooks the horse and tosses Caleb. Severin and Caleb start fighting, and Caleb's able to flag down this big rig truck. The truck driver is then shot by Severin. Caleb then tries to run Severin over with the truck, but then he attacks and destroys the engine. Caleb then crashes the truck into a pole, jumping out just in time as the truck explodes, killing Severin.
See, and that's what I'm talking about. This movie had some sort of vengeance, a vendetta against truck drivers. Like, that's the second truck driver that's gotten murked.
Well, it's Midwestern, like, Texas and stuff. So there's tons of like truck stops and people, like lots of truckers and stuff. It's trucker country.
Yeah, but
that's
still.
probably why.
And then I honestly don't know what really caused the explosion of the truck. I know like Severin's pulling a bunch of shit out of the hood, and then Caleb pulls what looks to be like the trailer air supply inside. He pulls the lever and just jumps out.
Yeah.
And then the truck, boom. Like, okay, I guess. I mean, that's interesting.
Caleb is then confronted by Jesse and May. May's still trying to get Jesse to let Caleb come back for some reason. Sarah then is able to escape Homer by hitting Homer in the head with a mag light. Caleb and Sarah make a run for it, and Diamondback then even tells Caleb to run for it, setting him up to get shot in the back by Jesse. But May pushes Jesse so he misses, and then for some reason, Caleb lets Sarah go run by herself, and the vampire family pulls up and snatches her again.
Yeah, he's an idiot. Did you know? He's not smart.
They're trying to escape from the rising sun, but May, watching Homer try to bite Sarah just in the back of the car, grabs Sarah and they jump out of the car. They run into Caleb, who covers May with his jacket, which somehow works, but the blanket earlier didn't really work for Caleb. I don't know.
Movies.
Homer then jumps from the car trying to go after Sarah, but begins to burn running after her. Homer then explodes. Jesse and Diamondback, kind of defeated, then roast together in the car until the car explodes.
I would like to say that earlier, so right after Severin died and Jesse is standing there in front of the car or whatever, he says what's possibly the hardest fucking line in this movie.
Oh, what was that?
He says, the last thing you'll hear on your way to hell is your gut snapping like a bullwhip.
Damn.
I was like, yeah, damn, son. Like that goes hard,
That
dude.
goes pretty fucking hard,
Jesus. Ooh, that's a cold shit to say to a motherfucker right before you kill him.
So the rest of the family is dead. The daddy is dead. The mommy's dead. Yeah. Homer, Severin's dead. So we then cut to May waking up from a blood transfusion, who is now a human again. And that is how the movie ends.
Yep. Just kind of... like, you go from this,
it
like...
was...
I don't know, like the whole like ending of the film, from the fight with Severin and then Jesse, and I do love the fact that Diamondback threw a knife and it hit Jesse in the face, like it hit him in the mouth or whatever. Yeah. That was pretty funny. I was like, ooh, Diamondback done fucked up now. Nah. And and then like when Homer catches on fire at the end, for it being the late 80s, like I thought that was some pretty good CG.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty good, because he's not actually on fire. It's just computer generated stuff. So like, yeah, I fuck with it, but at the same time, like the movie was just really mid, or not the whole movie, but like the ending was mid. You know, so
because I mean, what's so great about being a human? Like, I feel like if you were cursed to be a vampire, there would be ways to manage it to where you could have a prospering life and not have to, like, be vagabonds and all dirty and sweaty all the damn time. Because they were just so dirty.
Yeah.
And dusty and muddy. They just...
Yeah. Like, they look like they would just go out and, like, rub mud on their hands and grease and stuff and then just wipe it on their clothes. Like, now they're clean. That's how they get clean.
In conclusion, Near Dark emerges as a unique gem in the realm of vampire cinema, standing out for its subtle approach, focus on humanity and transformation, memorable characters, and visual style. Unlike traditional vampire films, it eschews gothic tropes and romanticism, opting instead for nuanced exploration of the characters' inner struggles and relationships. From the makeshift vampire family dynamics to the film's dark and introspective visual style, Near Dark offers a thought-provoking and compelling narrative that sets it apart from its peers. So, if you're seeking a fresh and captivating take on vampire lore, I would suggest Near Dark. It's not bad, like we're saying. It's very different than what you expect a vampire film to be.
Yeah, I would say so. I liked it because it definitely, it felt like an early Jim Cameron movie, but at the same time, it being Kathryn Bigelow directing, like, you know, how, I don't know, it was almost like she was being influenced by his filmmaking and stuff.
There's a little nepotism right there.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, she was already, like, directing and stuff, but still, he was a little more famous. And he's still a good bit famous than her. So.
I mean, he's probably, like, top 3 filmmakers of all time. Easy.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's also not fair to compare them as well.
No, it's not. No. It's not. I mean, obviously, she has her own film career. Like,
yes.
She's definitely well known, for sure. No doubt about it. But I feel like she kind of got there by riding his quote-unquote coattails a little bit at the very beginning. That makes sense. So...
yeah.
But either way, like, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really good compared to the films that we have seen in the past.
Yeah, I did this for you.
So
I did this
I appreciate that.
to help you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, because, I mean, I can't remember. I was going through the list of movies, and the one that's next. Yeah, it's something. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. And before we do our outro,
we want to take a moment
yes,
to recognize the struggles of the people in Gaza and Palestinians in the West Bank. Rafah. We would always want freedom for everybody, and so, you know, human rights for everybody. So, you know, we want to use the small platform that we have right now to call for a ceasefire in Gaza. And to free Palestine. So, you know, if you are able, please donate to the cause. Get out and, you know, make sure you're voting. Speaking out against it, because your voices do not go unheard. No. And also participate in the blackout of 2024, because it's ridiculous how much money and time are spent on such trivial things, such as the Kentucky Derby and the Met Gala and everything else. It's a ridiculous amount of money that could easily be used to benefit those in need. Yep. So, look into that. Save human lives.
Yep. Save human lives.
So, as always, from us here at And I Made Him Watch, you can always find us at www.andimadehimwatch.com. We're on Spotify, YouTube, CastBox, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So, as always, stay spooky.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of And I Made Him Watch. We hope you loved our deep dive into Kathryn Bigelow's Near Dark. Huge shout out to Dani for all her incredible research. She uncovered so many fascinating details. And hey, I've got to give myself a pat on the back for the technical production that makes each episode sound so crisp and engaging. Big thanks to Tori Wolf and Epidemic Sound for the amazing music that sets the perfect tone for our show. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow us and leave a review. And we're excited to bring you more film dissections and discussions. So until next time, keep those popcorn bowls ready and stay spooky.